Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast, and I'm in effect with somebody that should have been on here a long time ago. He's connected to the Detroit is Different family, and in a lot of ways, he also is part of the Detroit is Different family. He was one of the guests at a lot of studio the first time around. He also is, I think, one of Josh Adams' best friends. As you know, Josh, that's the homie, holding a lot of things down. Also anchor for T-Bob. So now that I mention comedians, we talking about a comedian, but somebody with impersonations, somebody with flavor, somebody with definitely holding down clean comedy, Christian comedy, but also nightlife after dark. He'll give it to you that way too. Mike Larry, how you feeling, my brother?
What's up, man? Just giving honor to God who was ahead of my life. No, I'm playing. What's up, man?
Mike's hilarious.
yeah.
It's like when people
man.
say that, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you come back with when people say stuff like, hey, how you doing? Blessed and highly favored, my brother, and Jesus is in my life. And then you be like,
Can't even talk about a dude like that, man. Whether you believe or not, you know what I'm saying? What's up, brother? Man.
All day, man, all day. So with it, and I think I just clicked on which for you to hear everything going on as I'm looking at my headphones and everything.
Yeah.
So now you probably in full effect with it. Let's start with the usual Detroit is Different story. Yo peoples in Detroit, whereabouts? How did your family get to the city of Detroit? How far back?
Man, to be honest, I don't even know how far back. Like, I feel like we always been in Detroit. I know, like, my great-great-grandfather or something like that was from Arkansas and all that.
Okay, so let's start there. So
Okay.
you know at least far back to great-great. So that's your grandfather's father. So that's like your grandfather's grandfather was in Arkansas. So that is a lot of generations deep.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Arkansas?
Man, I don't even know, man. I ain't gonna lie, Corey. I ain't even did the research like that. I feel like we all from Detroit until I just found out. You know what I'm saying? Not that long ago. But I haven't done the research like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dog, it's crazy.
All right, so then let's go on. Is that on your mom's side, dad's side?
My dad's side. My mom's side, they from they Portuguese.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Portuguese, for people that don't know like the history of it, when we think about definitely the atrocities of the slave trade and everything that happened, a lot of people know, people speak Spanish, but Portugal played a big role, and they're like a part of, like, I think they call them the romantic languages, like Spanish and Portuguese are very like close, not necessarily like directly, but if you understand one, you'll get to the other. And it's also the native tongue of Brazil, which Brazil outside of Africa has the most black people. And when I say black people, I mean like black people, not like, Jennifer Lopez is black. No, like, I mean black people, like you be like, damn, is that, I'm in Brazil? Like, that is part of Brazil.
Hey, I didn't know you was this smart, Corey. Well, go ahead, man.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Boy
Josh.
got deep, man. I ain't even know he's gonna go that far, man.
Oh yeah, man. I have to unpack it.
Threw something out there, man. He just came with the So that's really deep. It's rooted from Brazil, and like, dang, dog. All right, man.
I have to.
I feel like I should have had to study or something, man.
Hilarious.
Come on here, man. What's happening, man?
No. I want to give people a full like understanding of it. So you said from Portuguese, what's that background? What's that connection? Definitely like with food and things like that. When we think about the black influence there, and then when we think of the Moors too. So like, people know the Moors and what that was and impacts, like the ties go deep. So what was it like? What did you learn about that just growing up?
Man, he was I guess he was Papa was Rolling Stone type thing. It's my grandmother's father. Mm-hmm. So from what I heard and from the stories being told to me, he came over, brought the whole family, my grandmother and and my grandmother's mother and all them. He brought the family over, and he began for work. He was working. He was building. Mm-hmm. He was, matter of fact, he helped build Herman Kiefer. He's one of the builders, laborers on Herman Kiefer, man. And,
I already know your comedian friends are like making all types of jokes about that right now.
Man. You know, yeah, man. I got the discounts on the pills still, man. We got them all in the cabinet.
On the pills.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. And so, I from what I hear, he kind of left the family. You know what I'm saying? And so so he was my great grandfather. So my great grandmother raised all them. You know what I mean? But my great grandmother talked in her language. She didn't speak
Portuguese.
She was Portuguese too.
Yeah. So with this connection, Herman Kiefer, for people that are outside of Detroit watching this, is like at one point in time, it started as, how I know the history, a large hospital that eventually was purchased from the county. And when we were growing up, like I'm 40, Mike's close and around, I assume my age. So as we knew it, it was a health clinic, but it was so much more because Wayne County, the county where Detroit sits, owned it and did a lot of different services there. I got my food handler's permit from Herman Kiefer. And when I said that, people was like, oh man, you got the drip, because it was also known as the place where people would go for STD screening and support there. I also had to, I visited to get tested there at Herman Kiefer as well. But it was many, birth certificates, death certificates. It was a lot going on through the county, through that building, and it's a huge campus. Like, it's one of the largest buildings, we think, in that when it was built in Detroit at the time. So man, that means
hey, this boy's smart, man. Go ahead, man. Hey, I promise you, next time I come on here, man, I'm gonna study. You know what I'm saying? It's like an ACT test or something,
Hilarious.
man. But yeah, you're right, bro. You're right, man. And the funny thing, you talking about food handler's card. I remember when my first time I had to go down there and get one. Same thing. It's crazy, bro. And then as soon as you walk in there, people thinking you automatically going for STD or something. And you kind of talking about, I'm just down here for my food handler's card. You know what I mean?
It's like, yo, I got my job at Taco Bell. Man, I don't know nothing about the drips over here. I don't know nothing about the drip. Yeah, when the drip come in, you like drifting like, where's So, all right, what side of town?
West side.
Okay, always?
Always, man. My grandmother and them lived on Dexter and Atkinson.
Okay, that's not that far from here.
My father's parents lived on Chicago and Linwood. They wasn't that far from each other.
Okay, so like in that same footprint, kind of like Central. Like that's like this neighborhood for real. Okay.
They both went to Central. My father had 9 brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And so they won back to championships, all of them in 72, 71, and all that. My father and them was responsible.
Hold it down.
Yeah, responsible for them championships and stuff, man. Yeah, man.
We know some trailblazers, man. It's some iconic trailblazers when we think about it. I'm sure if I run it through my my pipeline of that, I'd be like, hey, do you remember this family bit? They'd be like, oh, he was on the bench.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, man. No, my father and his brothers, man, was crazy. Like my other uncle, he went to UCLA. My father went to San Bernardino, and they was them deals over there. I got paper articles. I got all the him being in the papers, my uncle being in the papers, and so yeah, they
and I'm a Northwestern guy too, so that Central Northwestern is always
look
rivalry,
at them, man.
Look at them. I'm mad because I run the track on Sundays and Tuesdays, and I think Northwestern's track, and I'm not even just saying this because I'm a Northwestern guy. Northwestern's track is amazing, just like the way they set it up and laid it out. So now I'm at Central's track all the time. I saw the other guy from Northwestern this past weekend. He an older dude, and it's good to see he maybe 75, and I saw he does all type of Rocky workouts when he runs the track. So he working out, pumping and everything. He shadow boxing. Yeah. And then I saw him. I ain't seen him in a minute. I'm like, man, you see we over here at Central now. He like, hey man, it ain't you gotta do what you gotta do. Trying to get back in Northwestern. So this is a shout out to DPS. Stop locking
the gates,
these tracks
before we climb the fence, man.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they do at Mumford, bro. They be climbing the fence over there.
Oh yeah,
man.
Mumford's also. Let me say that. Yeah, Mumford's as a person that runs a lot of DPS tracks, Mumford got a good track too.
Real good track, man.
Yep.
Shout out to Mumford, man.
Yep. So within that, this neighborhood, that Central, and you said UCLA, California. What led them out to California? And I mean, I know UCLA had a whip at the time with
scholarships and football. Both of them winning football scholarships and all that. So it was really sports led. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my father came back because he said I was about to be born, and nigga blamed me for that for all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because you was born, you know. I'm like, man, why would you just stay there and go do whatever you going to do? Come back and get us, man.
Hilarious.
Yeah, man. We could have had a mansion if you wasn't born.
Yeah,
man.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, and then you coming up. Did you stay in that same neighborhood? Where were you at as your peoples, made their way?
Well, I stayed on Dexter and Atkinson for a minute. And then we moved to Schoolcraft and Strathmore area, west side of Detroit. Yeah.
So that's like what? That's like the Cody Redford-ish neighborhood. You would say?
It's like Cooley.
Cooley, yeah.
Cooley,
I guess you're
Cooley
right.
is like I could walk to Cooley. Cooley
Okay.
is, you know what I'm saying? That's where I first went to Cooley. I went to Cooley there first for 9th grade, and then I transferred over to Redford.
Okay.
And then I went to Redford. Then I went to Robichaud.
Okay, so going up over there around that time, what do you remember in that neighborhood? Because that neighborhood also has, a lot of histories.
I just remember that neighborhood being beautiful, dog. Like, and then growing up in that neighborhood, we was poor, but everybody in the community was poor in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote, meaning like we wasn't no middle class. We was a little below average, but. I didn't even know that we was poor because everybody was, nobody really getting nothing for Christmas, really. You know what I'm saying? But everybody kind of looked out. It was the neighbors looking out, and I remember when the Pistons was playing basketball, we'd be out here outside hooping ourselves, and everybody would have TVs on the porch. You know what I'm saying? Doing that little era, and you can while we out here hooping, we can go on the porch. We sit at somebody's mama house and listening to the game, and then go out and finish playing, and then we might stop over here, like you know what I mean? It was just. I don't know, man. It was just unexplainable, man. I try and explain it to my sons and my daughters, but it's hard to even explain it to you, bro, how cool it was back then.
So we talking neighborhood basketball. So it's a couple different types of neighborhood basketball. Are we talking crate rim, or are we talking about
all that? Crate rim. We did the crate rim. You know what I'm saying? We definitely put the little crate, cut the little bottom of the crate out, and nail that boy to a garage. And then we talking real rims. We built rims. Like, you know what I'm saying? We built our own rim, bro. Like, use the wood for the backboard. And what's crazy is we found the wood to make the rim. And the base would be like a skit, a pallet. Like, where everybody put the pallets on. And that's what we would, nail the poles to. And then put the backboard up and then put the rocks on top of the pallet. And it would hold the rim up, bro. Okay, because I'm saying, like, in the air, I'm in the air. This isn't like the you can just go over to Walmart or and buy the rim that you put in the street, and that's the street ball now. It's like actually now, real street ball. It used to be alley ball, crate rim. Yeah, man.
Because it'd be telephone posts and people be eyeballing what 10 feet is. You play in one alley, it's like 7.5, and then you play in another alley, it's like 11 feet, and then be like, oh, he dunking on everybody. It's like, well, this is 8 feet though. Like,
right. My boy had a 12-foot rim in his backyard, bro.
He had a 12
foot, man. We had to shoot that boy from my hip every time we shoot it. You know so by the time you got on a real hoop, man, you breaking that boy. You just all people think you can't shoot, but you done adjusted to this 12-foot rim.
And then also the crate rims were like, to make the shot, talk about the crate rims teach you a lot of low post game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not for jump shooting. Like it is not.
No, because you ain't gonna make too many jump shots, man. It's definitely going to the hole, bagging somebody down. You know what I'm saying? Definitely all that, man.
Okay, brothers and sisters.
I got I got 2 sisters and 1 brother.
You oldest, youngest?
I'm the oldest. But then
real?
I found out later that my father had 2 other kids around the same. Actually, me and my oldest brother is a year apart, So I got a brother and a sister that didn't live with us from another woman. You know what I'm saying? And then I got our regular family. I got 2 little sisters and a younger brother.
Okay.
So I'm the oldest out of them, and I was the oldest in that house. And then when I got about 11 or 12, I found out about these other 2 kids.
Okay. What we'll definitely get into that, and I'm sure as a comedian you're gonna have a heck of a story to tell.
Oh man.
So with that, you said just being the oldest at that point in time from 12, like how far away were everybody else, and what was that like being the oldest kid?
Man, the oldest was like I had to be the most responsible. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta. My brother is like 9 years younger than me. My sister, right after him, is like maybe 12 years, and then the one after that is 16 years. You know what I'm saying? So our age is like I'm really the oldest for real. You know
So you were like a only child for the longest.
Oh man, the 9 years. 9 years, I was it was the best time of my life.
It was like you and only you.
Oh man,
and then
bro.
you looked up on another scene like, what is?
I was kind of happy because it was a little boy. It was it was my brother, so it was a boy. I'm like, man, I got a brother. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, we about to be. I got a brother. And then after a while, when the attention shifted off me and just all on him, I was like, man, I hate this little dude, man. You know what I'm saying?
So with that, and definitely you do a lot of some of your comedy and then even work. It's just around parenting and being a father, but just in that scope. What do you think about like that, just that stagger? Because it's a lot of people that may have like that kid. You know, what would you say is the best route? If you want to have 3 kids, would you say like, and I guess, you know, love gonna conquer all and through blessings, but what do you think is a natural flow for kids? Because I know me and my sister 1.5 years apart, like we were like damn near twins, sort of moving and pacing.
I think it's about the parenting. You know what I mean? Like, with my father, me being 9 years older than him, he still made me take him with me. Like, you about to go where? Oh yeah, take your brother with you. I'm like, man, take this. But when now we grown, we ain't nobody no more closer to me than him. You know what I'm saying? It made us super close. And so everything my father taught me with sports and I was teaching him. You know what I mean? So I think that it's just about the parenting, man. Like, my father ain't play, you ain't talking to your brother. You don't talk to your sister. You know, it was always about family. You know what I'm saying? And so.
What did your father do?
My father was a manager. He was a manager at like McDonald's. He was a manager at Wendy's. He was a manager at, man, that's fun. I need to talk about this in my comedy. And that's crazy because I haven't dove into that yet. But he was a manager, man. And this how we knew he, like, you know, when he was a manager, he would be gone all the time, and then, you know, it'd be a while we'd see him at home all the time. Like, dang, like, you ain't got to go to work today. This is how we knew he got fired, because he'd always say, yeah, you know, they about to transfer me. I'm waiting on the transfer. and then after a while, you stop asking. You know what I'm saying? And be like a year later, I'm like, man, they ain't get transferred. You know what I'm saying? He got fired, but yeah, bro. But he was a manager, man, and different restaurants.
Okay, so in that flow, being that I've worked fast food and I've had managers, I'm assuming just like your father, because I was a teenager that didn't really want to do no work.
Yeah.
So I assume your father had to have another layer of, like, I don't even know, I want to say maybe motivational discipline, like another layer of probably like even incentivizing y'all to do housework and stuff like that, because managers, if you ever worked a fast food job, fast food managers have like the most effective ones that do it for a long time. They have ways of like you looking up and you be like, why am I cleaning out? Why am I the only person always cleaning out the bathroom today? But the way they can present it to you, you almost don't even have a way to respond. So I'd imagine your dad is like trying out management styles on y'all as kids.
Hey, man,
of what he was gonna take to.
He was great at it, bro, and he would make us. He had a way of having you to do something, and you felt good about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yeah, I need you to clean up and do a good job. And I wanted to do a good job to show him I did a good job. You know what I'm saying? So he was real good at that, bro. He was good at that. And then, like I said, he played ball, and so he always had a sports mentality. And then he was a people's person. You know what I'm saying? As far as, like, crack jokes. And so, you know, he'd be on. I remember I'll pull in I remember I had this girl, man, and I pulled through the McDonald's drive-thru, and he was on the intercom. Yeah, and walking to McDonald's, how may I help you? Can I take your order? You know what I'm saying? Like, just silly. You know what I'm saying? And the lady like, that's your father? I'm like, yeah, that's my father, man. You know what I mean? But I was trying to get the free food. You feel me?
Hilarious.
Yeah, but man, or my boys come back like, man, because he worked at the McDonald's on Grand River and Green and Schaefer. And then we stayed maybe maybe walking distance, maybe 10 minutes. It's on 15 minutes walking distance. So everybody from the neighborhood used to go to that McDonald's. So they'd come back in the hood like, hey, man, your daddy fooling on the intercom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, fooling on the intercom. You know what I'm saying? Man, crazy, man.
All right, so with that, like I say, because managers know how to like you say, like incentivize you to do, or the effective ones that last long. Because I assume if you do something a long time, you're usually pretty good at it and you flow well with it. Right. On that same tip, what was like your mom's personality? What was she doing? What was she, what was her take and everything?
She was more of a housewife. Like she was like take care of the crib and all that. And so personality-wise, my father was cool, but he was a 0 to 100 person, like super quick. Like before you know it, he's knocking people out in the neighborhood.
Hilarious.
He was like the way to describe him was like if Mike Tyson was my father.
Hilarious.
That's the kind of dude he was. He was always built. He was always had his shirt off. He'd be lifting weights. He got weights on the porch, weights in the backyard, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even have friends because he'd make me wrestle him. Hey, who can beat in wrestling? So I got to wrestle my boy, and you know what I'm saying? I got to win. Or who could beat one-on-one? Now I got to beat him one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? And so it was always a competition thing. Now my mother was sweet. She got along with everybody. Real mild personality. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then my mom passed away. I was like maybe 17 or something, and so when she passed away, she had like a cough or something, and she's supposed to get like they're supposed to take like a tissue to see what's wrong, and somehow the air got to her brain, and she became brain dead and all that. So my father had to take care of all of us.
What was okay? Now that's heavy. Especially like in stride, losing a mom. I lost my mom, but much older. But I can only imagine the impact. And you're in high school and everything like that, and you're the oldest. Yeah. What changed in the household at that time? Just trying to manage it. That
it became more. I became more of his help. You know what I'm saying? Because by my son, my brother being 9 years younger, and my youngest sister is 16 years younger, and it was like. He was like looking for me for help, like, I need you, and, and so I helped him out and, helping my brother and sister. Well, I wouldn't even call it help out. I just stepped up, you know what I'm saying, did more of dropping him off at school sometime, or, you know what I'm saying, just became a helpmate to him in a sense.
So I'm guessing now in that role, you probably, especially like with your youngest sister, that relationship is more like an uncle / like dad. More than like just like the usual like brother sister.
It always
bond,
been. It always been that kind of feel to it, but not really, because my father was such a dynamic man, and to the point where he was always dad.
On present. Okay.
Yeah, he was always there. He was always father, like, and I was always the brother. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So it never really. I don't think they ever looked at it like because he was such a strong presence, but it was a big bro.
Okay.
Yep.
And then also, and now I'm seeing it just with my dad since my mom's passing, like dating, because oftentimes, so like, that what they say, like if a man's happy and enjoying the marriage, like men often, will look to make another connection sooner than later.
Yeah.
How did your dad move forward in that process?
He became a player, man. He became a pimp. He became he always had some chick, and it was to the point my father looked young. You know what I'm saying? So by this time, I'm like, I was 17 going on 18. No, I was 18 when my mom passed.
Okay.
And so, my father would tell different chicks that he messing with that, he'll bring the chick over and he'll come whisper to me, hey, don't forget, you my brother. So I had to be his brother, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, Dad. He like, man. And so he told the chick, I just called him Dad because he been raised. Nigga had a whole story. He
had a whole script.
Man, nigga had a whole script for me, man. I called him Dad because, you know what I'm saying, he been raising me since I was young. And so, man, it was just crazy, bro.
Okay.
I forgot all about this, man. You bringing up, you got my
memories. Yeah. It's like, oh, man, it's going to be in his set next time.
Yeah, real talk.
So, and then in that flow, also, just like, how do you think your dad dealt with it? Just because grief is just different for men,
Well, my father, he one of the ones, like, myself. You know what I mean? When things happen, he just pick up and move. All right, what's next? You know, we gotta do this. We gotta do that. And I remember before my mom passed, he never said, you know, I love you, man. Nothing. You know, it was always, man, you know, what's up? You know. And so I remember when my mom passed, I went off to college, and I remember him calling me like, all right, man, love you. And I was like, all right, love you too. You know what I'm saying? That nigga don't say that. You know what I'm saying? And so that became a normal thing. Like, he would say that in the house all the time. And you know what I'm saying? Then, I got smashed between two cars, right? I was playing, I walked on to Central Michigan, got a scholarship, play football.
Okay.
Came back home and was standing out in the middle of the street talking to a couple of my boys. You know how when you come back, you know, your boy.
Yeah,
you know,
kicking it in the street,
kicking it, everybody. What's
doing
up,
what
boy?
my mom would hate. She'd be like, why you all in the street?
Yeah.
Because I'm all in the street.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm telling them about school, like, yeah, man, I'm out here, man. I'm out there. And this was like in August. So I had been going to summer league practice and all that.
So you didn't even, this was your first year?
Yeah.
So you didn't even, a game didn't play or anything?
No.
You just visiting back because it's close enough and you connecting, you know what I'm saying, kicking it with the homies.
Kicking it, man. I'm a little swole, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. They like, man, boy, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you know. And a drunk dude been living in the neighborhood forever, but he used to be drunk all the time. But he'd be riding up and down the street drunk. And he hit, it was like, you know, two cars here that, you know, like I said, my boy car and my father truck.
So
here.
because y'all like usually like when you kicking in the street, you leaning like and post it near cars or whatever, just you know, whatever, you know.
And then there's another car down here. The drunk driver hit that car, pushed it this way, and got ready to swing back this way. And we kind of looking, and so me and my boy, like I said, the cars is here. We getting ready to try and go to the sidewalk, and so my boy go through the sidewalk, but he taking all day looking, and I'm like, go, 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 and I try and get to the sidewalk, but the guy caught me.
Damn.
Caught me between both cars, and it was so crazy until I ended up on top of the car, and then the other car ended up on my legs. And,
oh shit!
And he was steady on the gas because he was drunk. And my father came out and shot him.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming your father's rage was like that immediate.
Yeah, he came out and shot him, man.
Wow.
Shot and killed him. And they eventually got the cars off me, but long story short, you know, my scholarship was gone. My father went to jail. Now I'm taking care of my brother and sisters.
All right, so wait, time out. And I want to come back to that, but football just in that journey. You said Cooley start, Redford, and then where did you end at?
Robichaud.
Okay. I don't even connect with Robichaud. So what was it like, football journey? What position did you play? What was high school football like for you?
Man, I really so it's crazy how my you know, all that started. I like I said, I played basketball first. I don't know if I told you. I was like,
I mean, you mentioned
from the neighborhood, man. That's what everybody knew me as. Like, oh, this dude going to the league. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, at 12 years old, I could beat anybody in the neighborhood. You couldn't go find nobody who could beat me. You know what I'm saying? 13, I was beating grown men, and you know, I was playing in leagues that was, you know. But anyway, went to high school, was dominating high school, all city, and 11th grade, all state. And
you started at, okay, I don't know around the time
Redford.
With Cooley, though.
With Cooley, I ain't do nothing.
You didn't.
My grades was terrible.
Okay, because I was gonna say Kelso was over there.
Yeah,
Cooley,
Kelso was over there. Cooley,
was,
man.
People know Coach Kelso is like an institution.
Oh man, bro,
You know?
one of the craziest dudes, man. But yeah, I ain't played. My grades was terrible. You know what I mean?
And then you went to Redford, but also from Kelso kind of comes Coach Mack over at Redford. I'm guessing Coach Mack was over there.
Miles.
Oh, okay.
Coach Miles is over there.
Okay,
Coach
at the
Miles
time.
is over
Okay.
there, at the time, man. And, I'm playing with Coach Miles and. You know, and hooping over there. But, yeah, man, I was dominant in
And this is what's so weird because you from a Cooley hood. Like, we've talked about this before, Theo Pride and a lot of other people. Cooley's natural rival is Redford.
Yeah.
So you from
and I go over there to the school that's the rival of them.
Like
man.
Jalen Rose tells the story of, because Jalen, shout out Jalen, went to Southwestern, and he tells the stories of like, when Southwestern would play Murray Wright, some of them games and the gambling in the back and stuff, like it could get heated.
Oh yeah.
Cooley, Redford, as I say, even a Northwestern, like King Cat, like I say, like I really wish people could experience a Cooley Redford basketball game when both teams are good and the gym is just like you could feel the gym just move. Like you know, like on almost every play, like, you know, like how people were watching Steph and LeBron yesterday. Like when I think of crazy basketball, that's why when I saw above the rim, I'm like, this is close to.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to the feel that you get.
But really the feel, and then depending upon, you may want to leave early.
Oh, you definitely probably want to leave early, man. You definitely probably want to leave early, man. It was definitely one of them situations.
So being that you were from a Cooley hood and played on Redford, I already know. Yeah. You knew everybody on Cooley squad.
Man, I knew everybody on Cooley squad, man. I knew, I you know, really half of them was my friends. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So, yeah, we was boys, man.
But they probably took it to you like, oh no, we about to go at him.
Yeah. And I wanted to kill them. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kill them. And then I end up like when I got to Redford, the football coaches on me too. Like, man, you know, because I was. The size I would have to say maybe a little smaller than 50. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was
you were stocky,
a little point guard.
So you would consider it like I figure, you know, I mean, he's aging now, but like a Chris Paul type of where you had like some post move, like you had strength to like move an opponent.
Yeah.
So like it's like, you probably could be a running back or something else too, because you were strong enough.
Yeah, man. And so football coach, I ended up playing, you know, with the football coach team, man, in 10th grade.
Did you ever play football? Did you ever play football before then?
I played little league football, but I was cool. I wasn't, you know.
What team?
Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah, Steelers Nation.
Steelers. Should have been a Cub.
Oh man. I got love for the Cubs though. My family was Cub, like my cousins and all them, man.
I mean, uncle, they from Central, so it's like
they Cub people. Like
the Cubs is like a professional little league team.
Yeah. Real talk, man. Cubs the only people that, man, they had 32-year-olds on the A team, man.
Everybody always says that, no.
Yeah, they was grown, man. It was like, dude was like, I got a game with Cooley tomorrow, man. Then I play with Cubs. I play with Cubs on Saturday, but I play with Cooley on Friday.
I play with the lies.
Central. I play with Central on Friday.
The lies.
Tell you, man. Check their IDs, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. One time we played the Cubs, bro. Niggas had mustaches and beards, dog. I ain't lying, man.
Here we go.
I promise you, bro. They had a mustache. The dog had a mustache, and one of the dudes took his helmet off. The nigga hairline was receding. I said, "Oh man." Another dude had little gray hairs. I said,
"Had gray hair."
Man, 2 specks, and was like, "Man, I'm telling you, man, you got to watch the Cubs."
Cub
man.
hate.
All right, I'm lying about the gray hair, but the other stuff, bro, is all real.
So you did play a little football, but you didn't stay with it, I'm guessing.
No, I ain't.
You went basketball.
I went back. I was so good at like if you ask anybody, anybody out there, whoever watched me play, man, I was like, if you wanted to compare my game to anybody, would be like an Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Like everything he did, nobody could dribble better than me. Like it was that.
Handles.
And so my handles is like, if you see my daughter played for Mumford. She took him 2 back-to-back championships. She led them in scoring and everything.
Okay.
But if you watch her game and her handles, it was like that. And then I could shoot. Like my son is a shooter. I could shoot a little. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't start really shooting till the 12th grade. But my handles, man, nobody could take the ball from me, man. I used to at 12, 13 years old, man. We'd be in the middle of the street and I used to have everybody, like trying to take the ball from me. I'd be in a circle and they'd be just trying to. And it don't matter how many people, you know what I'm saying? But that was the game we would play. But yeah, man. And so I ended up playing football, and it was like the same thing. It was like, I was able to make them moves, running back and cornerback.
Okay.
But I was able to make those moves without putting the ball down. So, I can juke. You know what I mean? But I ain't got to dribble the ball. So it was like easy for me. You know what I'm saying? And I was good, man. Super good, man.
And if anybody knows, Detroit Public School football game basically is give it to the running back all game. Yeah. So like the legacy of running backs PSL is historic. Like it may not connect. A lot of guys didn't go pro because I think a lot of other politics and all of that stuff. But like same thing. Like some people, would get the ball like, and you're like, whoa, this is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's gonna happen. You know the play. You know who's gonna get the ball.
Nothing you can do about it.
Pretty much.
Nothing y'all could do about it.
That was pretty much it. So you ended up like, and that's tough.
Yeah.
So like, how long? And you said from 10th grade, you get on the team. Yeah. You end up starting.
I started 10th grade at Redford. I started 10th grade on varsity, man. Yep, on varsity. I started 10th grade on varsity, And it was me and another guy going back and forth. But I started the first couple games, and then I do something stupid where I don't know the player. Some coach bench me, you know what I'm saying? But then I get back to the position, you know. So it was like a back and forth thing. But just to be playing varsity in the 10th grade back then, you know, is crazy. Because
what was your dad like? Obviously, he liked the sports and the competition.
Yeah.
Did he say, "Hey, football, basketball"? Like, did he have like a say in either or do everything?
No, he was like, do everything, man.
Okay.
And then, you know, like I said, my dad was real dominant, and I look up, and he ain't really come to all my games. You know what I'm saying?
guessing because he was working a lot of them times.
And no, he was like, he was jealous a little bit.
Hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? He was going through a midlife crisis, and he was like, yeah, all right, that's pretty good, but I used to, you know what I'm saying?
But I used to.
And by him doing that, it created this thing in me where I'm like, all right, you used to do that? I can do this. I'm going to do it, like, you know, and it was always, it made me want to be better and better and better, and I even use that with comedy and life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always challenging myself and pushing myself to the next level. Nothing is never enough. You know, I'm never satisfied. Like, I'm like, oh, I got to get more. 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 And it could be a good thing or a bad thing because sometimes you got to celebrate, you know, as well. You got to give yourself some type of flowers and, you know, say, all right, at least I did this.
So football, I'm guessing you had basketball offers too. Why did you choose football?
My boy was playing too.
Okay.
So my boy was going to Central Michigan too, and I really wasn't supposed to go to Central. I really wasn't supposed to go to Central. He was going to Central and was playing football at Central, and I was like, man, I'm about to pull up on y'all. I pulled up on him, and I'm talking to the coach, and he was out there, and I'm like, coach, like, what you think you good? I'm like, I'm real good. He's like, hey, somebody grab him a helmet. Man, I went out there and showed out, bro. Showed out, man, on their starting defense, and I was, you know, doing my thing, and I ended up getting a scholarship, man.
Now that's like a very talented story because things like that are just so rare.
Man,
that's almost like unheard of.
Yeah, yep. And then it's like, so I stayed up there for like 3 or 4 days, and you know he kept testing me and all that, man. But yeah, yep. So then it came back home and all that.
And then the accident. So
healing
from that accident, and then I broke my leg in 10th grade, but I'm not in athletics at the time, so it was different. But still being young, the bones heal, but it still was like a mental thing. And then let me say this too for anybody watching. Look, straight up, because I didn't go through it, and that's why I still have a slight limp. People think I'm trying to be cool and all that stuff. Finish your physical therapy. I know when you have like 12 weeks of physical therapy, you'll get to probably like week 7. If you're young, you may get to week 6, and you'll be like, I'm normal, I'm cool. If you don't go through the full physical therapy, it's not going to get the results you need. Go through the full physical therapy, for real. I'm just speaking from the heart. For anybody watching this, really go through the physical therapy. So, but for you, you're an athlete. This is connecting. I assume you have to reestablish everything going on in your life and everything with your father. Like, I can only imagine you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even really have a lot of time. Like, if you say you got to go make fast decisions, but how do you even respond to something like that?
Man, bro, I don't know. Like, what's crazy is the fact of how everything happened. It's like pretty much you get hit with a Mack truck all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I get hit, my whole life changed. Father go to jail. I'm responsible for my sisters and brothers. You know what I'm saying? I can't walk. I couldn't walk for like 7 months almost. 7 months I couldn't walk. You know, when I say can't walk, I don't mean not at all, but it was like you ain't supposed to be walking no more than from here to the door or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so my mom gone, you know what I mean? I had this girl I was talking to who was helping me through that whole process.
Wow.
But you just look at your whole life, everything flashed before you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
these are the moments where things turn to depression. And then, like, when people talk about like just American society, I mean, people sometimes turn to alcohol, people turn to drugs, people turn to like just things that aren't going to, I think, add to the healing process, especially in communities like this. And then now, I mean, you're 18, so now you have the responsibility of a house. You got the responsibility of kids. You got the responsibility of healing yourself and still figuring out a path for yourself. Like, I got to tip my hat to, like, brother, whoo, that's a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's why I think, you know, God giving me this gift with comedy. Like, I really was never a comedian. You know what I'm saying? I was crack jokes in the locker rooms or something, and then I had another personality where I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when it come to me playing ball or something like that, I had because you got to have that
competitive spirit.
Yeah, you got to have that, man. And so it was, I don't know, man. It's just crazy, bro. You just never know where God is gonna lead you, where you supposed
where that
to be.
path
Yeah,
was.
man.
So at that point, just moving forward, when you are walking a little bit, what plan do you make, or it may even be the time in the healing process? Like, what plan are you making as you go forward?
Man, it was depression, really, and what's crazy is, you know, I think a lot of, you know, I can't speak for all race, but I know black folk, because that's what I know. We be depressed not knowing we depressed. You know what I'm saying? I gained weight, man. I gained like 50 pounds, and at the time I was like 210 or something like that, and I gained like 50 pounds, man, and just didn't want to do nothing. Couldn't watch no type of sports. Didn't want to, man, turn that off. You know what I'm saying? And so it just went through a whole healing process. Now my father beat the case.
That's what's up.
He came home in about a year. So by the time he came home, I was messing with this other lady, which turned out to be my baby mama. I ended up having a kid. And so now I'm going through adulthood, and you know what I'm saying? And now we in a whole different bracket. And I'm still thinking about, like, man, can I get healthy enough to go play ball again?
Yeah.
But I know I couldn't. You know what I'm
now
saying?
let me ask you, in that same, like I talk about breaking my leg, do you think you went through the physical therapy process and devoted enough? Like, did you approach your physical therapy the way that you approach, like, the competition of sports?
I'm going to be honest with you, Carl. I never went to physical therapy.
Wow.
I didn't know nothing about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up where, you know, you something happened, nigga, you dust it off. You walk it off. You know what I'm saying? Sleep it off. You'll be all right. And so I didn't know no process of where I'm supposed to go and who's supposed to help me and I ain't know nothing about that, man. You know?
So you were like really like and I'm guessing this is another thing of like with coverage and medical insurance, and then just also just black men and doctors, as they say, like we don't know, you know what I'm saying? All right, I think I'm kind of good now.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the ER, you get the pills from there, you dealing with the pain sort of, and then you are healing yourself.
Yeah.
But still not necessarily, especially when we think of sports, getting the mobility and the motion and the mechanics connected to it.
Yeah, and then you got to think, like, even with, you know, healthcare and all that, you know, my mother did all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was the person who made sure we go to the dentist and doctor and all that and this and that. And my father was just, you know, all right, so eat some oatmeal, drink some water. Y'all will be all right, you know. And so now he's in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody else saying, hey, y'all should do this. So, you know, I ain't know, man. I ain't know.
So, all right, now with that, what are you doing? Like, so what decision did you make? Like, okay, well, this is what I want to do now. I got a kid on the way. I'm back walking. This is the path I'm taking. And then how does that path lead you to comedy?
So I go, me and her develop, you know, got the relationship. I'm like, you know, when you're young, you're like, man, this probably my wife and got my kid, and I got my own family, my father home, you know, my brother and sisters back straight. And so me and her move on with our life. And I'm at the time he born, I'm like, I got to get a job. You know what I'm saying? I end up getting a job at Home Depot. So
which one?
Greenfield or 8 Mile.
Okay. That's that one ain't even around no more.
No, man.
Like that was like the original.
That's exactly, man.
Back when it used to be like a HQ, then it switched over to being a Home Depot. Yep. Okay. So what was it like working at Home Depot?
That's where I became the comedian. That's what comedy kind of, you know what I'm saying, like took off. It was the break room, man, would be where I crack all the jokes, and you know, and people be like, hey Mike, talk about him, and you know what I'm saying? It was that type of thing, and it was like a family environment. And then people would tell me I'm so funny. You're so funny. Oh my God, you are so funny, and I just kept cracking jokes, and so eventually that Home Depot got shut down. Yeah, and then we opened up another one on Myers and 7 Mile.
Now the 7 Mile Home Depot, as it used to be the 7 Mile Kmart, which that was had its own set of classic Detroit stories. The 7 Mile Home Depot was almost like it was like the HBCUs
Yeah.
of Home Depot. Like everybody knew somebody.
Yeah.
I remember it was like, Lord knows, it was like, man, I don't even remember. I'm forgetting her name, but I thought she was so fine. Like I was kicking it. Like it was everybody.
She used to work at Home Depot?
Yep. It was a couple. Like I mean, it was young people, some old people, but
Man,
it was
whoever
black
you talking
managed.
about,
It
I
was
guarantee
like,
I know.
I
I mean,
guarantee
you know.
you do. I
Yeah.
guarantee you do.
Because when we moved from 8 Mile, they brought us over. I was a supervisor. I moved up to a supervisor. I was a department supervisor.
Man.
I was over like 3 or 4 departments, garden. I ran building materials, lumber, electrical. Like I was over all that, man. And so when they moved us over here, they brought some people over here, and they brought some people from the Eastland one.
Okay.
And so, fortunately, one of the people from the Eastland was a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they brought him over, some people that from my store was like, "Hey man, it's this comedian, man. He man, you need to get with him, bro, so he can like you need to be doing comedy. You need to hook up with him."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, hey, I don't really want to do comedy. You know what I'm saying? And so and they kept doing that, kept bringing it. And eventually he walked over to me and said, "Hey, what's up, man? I do comedy, bro. I heard you funny, man. You want to do comedy?" And so, I'm like, "Yeah, man. I tried, And so we became kind of cool. And he was selling these tickets for Tony Roney. He was selling comedy tickets for Tony Roney. He was like, selling. He was like, "You should come check me out." I ain't never go, but at that Home Depot, he was funny too. Like everybody talk about him. It was like me and him kind of teamed up, and we became hilarious. Break room, they couldn't wait to get the break room with us.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Man, come watch me, man." So I came on and watched him. He bombed, and I was like, "Oh no, bro, you bombing." And you might be a little more funnier than me with it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going. You know what I mean? So this comedian is Blackberry. Blackberry.
Shout out Blackberry.
Yep, Blackberry, man. Yep. And he kept telling me, "Man, you should do it. And eventually he got fired for cutting somebody's hair in the break room.
Hilarious.
He got fired.
That sounds like a classic Blackberry story.
Man, definitely, man.
Probably had you fire him like, "Hey, Blackberry, you can't be doing this."
Yeah, bro. So he got fired, man, and he would keep in touch with me. Kept in touch with me. At the time I had a house phone, bro. No cells, house phone. He kept my number, and a year later he would call me every blue moon and, "Hey man, you ain't ready yet?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do it." And he called me like maybe 2 years later, and he was like, "Man, you gonna come on? I got this room at Mandy's on 6 Mile and Coney."
Oh man,
He said, "Man, I got this room, man. You should come on out and try it, bro." I'm like, "Man, I'll be out there, bro. I'm gonna come out there." I go out there. I really just came to watch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had nothing prepared. I'm one of them people that feel like, I got to have everything in order. I ain't just jumping into the water. You know what I'm saying? And so he tried to bring me up. "Hey, man, come to the state." I'm like, "Nah, man, I go up next week." So the following week, I go up, and I kill, man. I got a standing ovation at Mandy's, bro. Like, because he brought me up.
Wait, time out. Let me give some context to that. Okay, so Mandy's is across the street from Buddy's Pizza on the east side. Blackberry held that night down for a long time. But it's definitely one of those, like, if you listen to comedians say, like, the difference between black rooms and white rooms and da-da-da.
Yeah.
The difference is, to me, as a fan of comedy and a person that's produced some comedy shows, like, a black audience is like, you got to make me laugh.
Yeah.
And really, at Mandy's, I may just be here because the people from up the block gonna be up here and we want to have a drink for my cousin's birthday. And I could care less about what's going on the stage.
Exactly.
You got to make me stop doing what I'm doing. Not to mention, Mandy's had probably some of the best like the audience would be just as funny as the people on the stage.
Yeah.
If you sort of like, almost like you get like I don't know, maybe like a minute and a half window to make people laugh. And then it's like, hey, why you on stage with that shirt in the first place? And then the next thing, the audience starts standing up and just going in on you. Yeah. And everybody starts tagging in and da-da-da-da-da. Like, so that's a rough room to win over for your first
Terrible
go.
room, man. It was my first time. And, but when he brought me up, he was like, "Man, this is dude first time on stage. He never done comedy before, man. I need y'all to show him a lot of love." And, you know what I'm saying? Make noise for Larry. That's why I didn't even have Mike Larry at the time. And so I go up. I already had my stuff. I had my whole set in order. What I wanted to do. I did my Judge Mathis impersonation because I had him. Judge Mathis sounds like my 8th grade gym teacher.
That's funny.
So I used to impersonate my 8th grade gym teacher all the time. And then I remember one day. This is how I knew my ex-wife wasn't. I knew she was a hater, bro.
Hilarious.
I used to tell her, I'm like, man, I bet I could sound like him because he sounded like my gym teacher named Mr. Oliver. Mr. Oliver, we always wanted to hoop. You know, when you was 8th grade, man, you wanted to hoop as a boy.
Yeah.
You couldn't wait to get to gym, man.
Yeah.
But he would
Jim
never
was hooping in middle school for
bro.
kids.
But he would always find a reason not to let us hoop. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want to do nothing. And so he would be like, yeah, man, hell, man, if y'all ain't gonna play basketball today, you'll get a 0 for the day, and 3 more you out for the rest of the year. And he had this little newspaper, and he'd be like, that's the way I feel, man. I don't care about y'all playing basketball. You want to run your mouths, be quiet. And so when I heard Judge Mathis, I was like, man, he sound like him. And so I started mocking what Judge Mathis was saying. And that's how I, ended up realizing that I had
that you already had that and worked that
crazy,
for years.
Bro. For years. I was in 8th grade, 9th grade. 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, I was doing that. And so I already had that. And after I got off stage, man, they all, stood up. It was a small crowd, maybe about 30 or 40 or something.
But that's still a great feeling your first time out.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, man. And I just had the bug ever since, bro.
Now, when you talk about that, because comedians say that, like Dave Chappelle said he did great his first time. Chris Rock says he did great his first time. And both of them say, like, the next times it was tough. Chris Rock says, like, I did great my first time, and then, like, for a year I was bombing every day. Yeah. But it was worth it for the high, and then he started being a part of the comedy community. Yeah. What was it like for you chasing that? Because now it's like you're a manager, you got a kid, you're married. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot more than, like, some of your comedy contemporaries that's just basically every day doing open mics. You know what I'm saying?
So, at the time, man, I was going through a divorce with their mother. So, my daughter's maybe 4, my son was 8 or something, 7 or 8. And so we going through a divorce, and I lost the job at Home Depot.
Wow.
When BlackBerry called me, I had just got fired.
Wow.
So when he called, I'm like, man, I'm getting unemployment, man. I tried. You know what I'm saying?
So this is like, talk about like things that may inspire. It's sad that, and Josh hates when I always say this, Josh Adams, the comedian. It's like some of the toughest things inspire some of the best comedy because I think comedians have a way of taking traumas, tragedies, and critiquing it where it's funny, but we're getting out that emotion. Like, it's like a different type of therapy almost. Like, and comedians do that best. So it's like you going through a divorce, you lost a job. Yeah. That's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying?
My ex-wife got a new job, so I'm at home babysitting while she at work. Well, I ain't gonna say babysitting because these my own kids, but I'm watching the kids while she at work. So by the time she get home and get settled, it's time for me to, I'm about, start getting ready to go to do some comedy later. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, me and her was going through so much, and it was just cool to get away.
Yeah.
So I couldn't wait. It was like a kid being able to go outside and be on punishment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in that boy. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, y'all, everybody good? All right, man. So, like, I was so motivated and active and running it. Like, it was crazy, bro. But yeah, man.
And I also wanted to talk about this too. Like, you being in the, like, you started at Home Depot, then moved up to management. Did you take any of your dad's management skills and, like, apply that to?
Hey, you know what, though, Kari? I think it's all the same football mentality or the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never been a lazy dude. So if I'm going to work this, I'm going to do it. I want to be the best. It's just the competitiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, this dude aisle look better than my aisle. I'm about to make sure my aisle look perfect. You know what I'm saying? And so I just I'm just always that.
And then just like personalities.
Yeah.
Because like people have a lot of critiques about how things should be, but they've never managed people's personalities. And just knowing the people I know that worked at that Home Depot, because it was a mix of people, like it was college students, it was just people like looking for jobs. It was some people that was fresh out that probably lied on their resumes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a mix of people and just managing those personalities, older people, younger people. And at the time, it's not like you like, a 60-year-old. So like managing people even older than you,
man, it was crazy,
is a different type of power dynamic for them to like follow what you're doing, and then also to have humor in it, I'm assuming, as a way to like maybe break the ice and work things out. But
and then I'm a people's person, man. I know how to make people feel good at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And get them to work. Like, it's like kids, like even with your kids, people like, man, I treat all my kids the same. I don't treat all my kids. You can't. How could, because each kid is different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my son, for instance, I didn't have to give him no time on what time to be home. I knew he was gonna be home. He ain't never in the streets. Like, you know, at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock or something, I knew he would, 10 o'clock, I'm talking about he in the 12th grade, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I don't have to call him or nothing. He going to be home. Now, my oldest daughter, I got to say, hey, look here, nigga. You need to be home at 9:30. That way I know she'll be here by 10.
11.
You know what I'm saying? So it's every kid is different. Every person is different. And you just got to find a way to get them to work. Get them, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. Now into that comedy, as you say, like you as you go and you're just like finding that joy and just basically like getting this off your mind and finding something better than like all the static going on at home. When does it become like, okay, this can be a business? Like, when does it transition? Because right now, I mean, when I think of names and comedy,
bro. I kept doing good. It's like, you know, you get some people say, man, I had a bunch of bad shows. It was like, I can't relate to that. That
wasn't your experience.
Yeah, it was like my shows just kept being good, and people kept saying, man, you funny, man. You only been doing it how long? Man, that's crazy. And I'm like, all right. And it just made me want to be better. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'm at home, coming up with all kinds of jokes, and she getting on my nerves. So I'm really like, I'm finding this zen, you know what I'm saying? And then we go through a divorce. She go through a divorce. Like this probably like 3 or 4, 5 months into me doing comedy. Go through a divorce, and she talking about moving out of the state with the kids, and so when we go through divorce, I leave her the house. I didn't want no divorce. She wanted a divorce. I'm like, all right, bump it, man. Eventually, I just like, so I leave her the house and left her, the car. I took my car. And so now I'm out, and I don't got nowhere to go, really. You know what I'm saying? But I got comedy, so I'm kind of still happy. But I'm sad on my family end, but I'm like, all right.
Comedy's keeping you motivated.
Yeah, it's keeping me, man, I tell all these people all the time, man, comedy saved my life mentally, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, go back to my father, how he had a house over there on Strathmore, where I grew up at. He still had the house over there. He had he was staying in the apartment, but still over there. And so I went over there. In that
same neighborhood.
Yeah. And so I went over there for a minute, and you know what I'm saying? And he'd come back there, and it's like, it's awkward, but I only need to really sleep. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, bro, she leaves. She said she gets rid of the house. She says she's going to move out of town. She's taking the kids. And I'm like, man, you can't take my kids. No, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? We just got a divorce. Now you want to move them.
Relocate.
I never been I'm always, like, fatherhood is something I pride myself on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be the best dad. You know what I mean? And my father was a great father, Yeah. And so eventually, I prayed about it, and it was like, let it go, man. You just bring him here in the summer and go visit him. So the day before she leaves, I take him to the park. We at Belle Isle. And they out here playing, and she's supposed to leave Sunday, this Saturday. She calls me and says, the plans changed. We leaving today. And actually, we got the truck loaded, and you need to bring them to me so we can all leave. And I'm like, man, I'm not, come on, man. I'm not about to leave from the park. And I'm looking at while we on the phone, I'm looking at my daughter playing. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to do that, man. I said, I'll bring him to Atlanta, because that's where she was moving at. I said, I'll bring him to Atlanta, man. And Monday, Tuesday come, she like going through whatever she going through, and she like, yeah, they can't come down here right now because my lights ain't on and this ain't on. I'm like, well, they can't stay with me because I don't got no house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and she like, well, I don't know what to, I'm going through something too, and we had this big argument, bro.
I can imagine, because you feel like,
I'm like, man,
what you going through is self-inflicted versus what I'm going through is kind of through you too. It's like you knocked down both dominoes
and then
of the situation.
And my father, like I said, he was a player, so he turned into a player.
He like, yo, I can't have all these little homies up in here.
Man.
He
bringing chicks over there to the other, like he using both houses, and then you'll come over there. I come back to the house, and then the door locked. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they got the door locked.
Hilarious.
And I look through the window, he in there, he got some little chicken there or something. So, that mean don't come over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, eventually, bro, I end up getting, I can't say stuck with the kids, but the kids was
stay with you?
Yeah, stuck with me. I'm like, we arguing, and God was like,
let it go.
Hey, didn't you want the kids? I'm like, yeah. There you go. I'm like, all right, bump it. And so we went through a whole thing of living in the car for a minute.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, man, we go to the park. I take them to the park or something, and we sitting in the park. It start getting dark, and we sitting in the car, and they fall asleep. We sleep in the park. My daughter wake up the next day. She like, oh man, Dad, we at the park again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you the best, Dad. Like not knowing.
That's what
Dog, we
y'all
living.
was.
We just lived here for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But it was pride too, because I could have went on my sister's house. And,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like,
I'm gonna do it by myself because
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I was thinking. I was thinking your brother,
I
and your
had people
sister,
I coulda, you know
but
what
at
I'm
the
saying?
time, it's like you rather do it.
Yeah, man.
that
I'm
way.
like, man, I got to get my stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
Now, as you walk that path, because I think this may be around the time when I probably was first met you, and I definitely don't think you may remember in passing and stuff, because from Kool-Aid and Coco and all the comedians I know around here, and Lord knows the jokes, and even Blackberry and Clayton, just everybody, Heather.
Yeah.
You walk in this path, and I guess this is that what you speak about in black men and just black people. You going through something that heavy, but you walking that path, walking in, none the wiser. Like,
Right.
it's like, oh yeah, I mean, if I got something coming up, I probably could get Larry on something. Like, I'm not even connecting to that.
Yeah.
So I know I'm fast forwarding here as you have your comedy class now.
Yeah.
Do you think you have like a different intuition of knowing like when somebody going through something? Because like you hitting that path and that stride, and I have none the wiser that stuff like this is going on.
Bro, what's crazy is, so I'm doing like I've been filming my comedy class a little bit.
Yeah.
Bro, every single student is going through something. And when they come in, I'm like, man, what's up? You ready? Straight? Like, it's like a family, because we together 6 Sundays, you know what I'm saying? Every Sunday at 2 o'clock. And so one of them come in and they looking a little weird and just looking like, I'm like, what's happening, man? You good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm like, nah, man, you ain't good, man. What's up? Well, I don't know. I'm just going through a lot. Like, so my kid's father just not, like, and before you know it, bro, tears and like, or somebody domestic violence, and it's so much stuff going on in one class setting, bro. And I done taught 4 different classes, and each one of them, one dude was talking about suicide. He tried to take himself. You know what I'm saying? And God had a different plan for him. And it's so many different stories, bro. And I realized like that's a part of my ministry. People look at the class like, oh man, he just over there. No, it's really deeper than that, man. Each class informed a family. All of them get along for the most part. They didn't. Some people dating now. You know what I mean? And
I'm pretty sure that's probably funny as ever too.
Oh man, bro. Some of his best friends, and they going through this journey of comedy, which is a journey in itself, and they have accountability partners. You know what I'm saying? Some people more hungry and like, well, you ain't grabbing the mic tonight? Yeah, I guess I'll go out, and you know what I'm saying? And so it became more of a family unit, man. Yeah, it's deep, bro.
Yeah, so in this journey, like as as things, what were the catalysts as you're walking this path with comedy? Is it like, okay, now I need to grab another job, or like, where you at? What's next to from car to crib to, what happens? What's the plan?
What you mean? Like, what you saying? Like
at the time where like, now you the father, you got the kids.
Oh.
And what plan are you making? Because at this point, it's like you almost, when it comes to starting from scratch, boy, you go from the dirt on up.
Yeah, man.
Again, like this is like again,
bro. And what's crazy is not knowing how things work. Me taking care of my brother and sisters prepared me for being a single father.
Wow.
Me watching my father do it by himself let me know that it can be done. So now when I'm in this position, I'm like, oh, I could do this. This ain't nothing new. I watched him do this. I helped him do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So come on, man, we gonna be straight. And now it's like, all right, bro, we gotta get some money though. You know what I'm saying? We got a car, gotta get some money. And so I picked up a job and started working, got myself together, and then I ended up meeting my wife, who is now. And she had 4 kids.
Okay.
But they was all like the same age. So at the time, my daughter was 5 and my son was 9. And then she had a son that was 5 and a daughter that's 10 and like 11, 12, and then another one that's 7. So with like 6 kids, you know what I'm saying? So we dating, and she like bring them over here, and she found out we was in the, I was like had them in the car. Sometimes my daughter told like, yeah, we slept in the car, and we just kind of, and she was like, she called me one day like, no, look, they gonna come over here. I know you don't want to stay with me because you don't, but I don't want them out here in the streets, and you know what I'm saying? And she just had my back ever since,
that's
bro.
deep.
Like a real woman.
How did you know that, like, what difference in your wife to know that, like, she had, like, okay, this is a woman that, like,
how she treated my kids. It was like how she treated my kids and how she cared. It was like different from anything I seen. It was like it was all genuine. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get somebody just trying to do it because they trying to kick it with you. But no, she was genuine in her care for me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember telling my father, like, man, I ain't. Because, like, again, I'm like, bro, let me rent this house out or something. You know what I'm saying? And he like, man, I be making too many moves.
Yeah,
you know
I know.
What I'm saying?
It's like this is the house is for the girlfriend, the apartments for the for the side. Like, hey, brother, I'm managing. Your dad is living his best life at this time. Like, hey, this was always what I dreamed of.
Yeah, bro. And so he was trying to push me to her. Like, no, man, you should move in. Man, it's cool. That she a good woman. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, he's just trying to put me over there. But eventually, man, me and her ended up moving together. You know what I'm saying? And then it just turned into a family, bro.
For the brothers, even like me, but more so even like a Josh, like for a brother that is a father, how do you make that decision of a woman to be with, other than just like, okay, if you just want to have sex or whatever, but like something like deeper or just date or whatever? Like, how do you make that deeper connection? Like, you said the way she connected with the kids, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, because at this point, you got some game about yourself. You've been a manager. You know what I'm saying? You started from the ground with like really your kids and your siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like, what were your determining factors of making that choice?
It was it was tough. It was tough because I was coming out of a marriage. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, and that was terrible. So it was tough, but it was too many things that lined up that was perfect almost. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, all this is good. Like, I don't want to miss this boat or so that, how people like, God sent a couple of boats, you in heaven wondering why you died. You're like, man, I sent you a boat, stupid. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, that was it. It was like she was a good woman. She cooked. She, cared about my kids. She wasn't disrespectful. She believed in what I was doing in my career. She knew I did comedy. She was like, yeah, do that. She was pushing me. And it was like, man, I think this is it, bro.
So, and then now let's go back to that balance. You back working, kids back in the spot.
Yeah.
You getting a little more comfortable. You finding your wife, and y'all connecting, y'all building. What about the grinding comedy? Do you slow any? Do you?
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
I never stopped. I never slowed down on the grinding comedy. I always found a way to put that in. Like, it was like I got off work and kicked it with the family or something, and then go hit a mic, come back. Like, I didn't do too much hanging though. Like, because the main important part for me was the comedy. It was camaraderie is cool, but it was like, it was too much going on. It was new relationship, my kids. Like, it was too much going on for me to really be hanging. So I would just grab a mic to sharpen my skills up, and then come back to the crib.
Now with that, and I'm just speaking from the artist standpoint, especially like it's artist crafts where people say you either do it or you got to do it all. Comedy more so than any other art hustle. Rappers kind of feel like that. Singers sort of feel like that. You know what I'm saying? I guess visual artists. So visual artists and comedians are the most, when I meet them, they're like, you ain't taking it serious unless this is all you do. Comedy's one of those jobs.
Yeah.
That often that's what's said.
I think it's a balance. I used to feel like that. I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like if I'm considering myself a real comedian, then I'm just going to do just comedy. But at the same time, I think it's different generations of it. Like, so when you a kid from 18 to 26, don't know responsibilities, then, go sleep at a bus stop in L.A. You know what I'm saying? So you can do comedy. But once you start, you're responsible for lives. I'm responsible for them eating. I'm responsible for my kids. And, you better make sure you got some money. You know what I'm saying? You just got to work extra hard. You got to better balance both of them. And, like, Josh is a prime example. You know what I'm saying? He worked, and then he still, like, he don't miss a beat with comedy.
No.
Nobody knows. Like you would never think that he go to open mics. He booked through the weekend and week, and you just he practice during the week. Like you would never think that he work a full-time job as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a balance in what you're going through and where you at. You know what I mean? When I decided to, because I had a job after I left that job, then I started trying to do comedy full-time because it was like to the point where I was getting booked so much, I had to keep telling the lady, like, hey, can you work with me? Like, the human resource lady is real cool with me. So I would have to call her, like, hey, I ain't gonna better. Man, I know I'm supposed to be at work at 7 on Saturday, but I got a show at 6. I can be there at 8. Can you fix that? And she kept fixing it. Then she came to a point, she was like, Larry, I ain't gonna better. I can't keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have to make me look bad. And I told my wife, who was my girl at the time, like, I think I'm gonna just do this full time. Now you gotta remember, bro, I got 6 kids now, a wife, and you know what I'm saying. And she like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, man, cause what I'm making is close to what I'm making at the job, really, for real. And I'm like, if I get product and really take it serious, I can make at least that.
So let's stop at that moment. And I saw you I've seen you in the Stride. First off, man, when you shot your special, which I'm assuming will be dropping soon, it was packed, phenomenal. Like you filled the Redford Theater because I was up top, and I swear I came like Africa. You that started like way more on time than I thought it would.
Right.
Because it was going when we were there, and we were all the way up top. So it was great to see that victory. But that's the other thing. When you do it, quote unquote, full time, having that work ethic to really hit the ground to do it and not end up, on your phone looking at Instagram all day.
Me and her broke up off
wasting,
of that, bro.
wasting time and all of that. Like, how do you
it's
really get working when you like, this is what I'm going to do?
It's all by habit. So, like me and her had a little split up off of this because I told her I'm going to do straight comedy and I was doing it, but I wasn't, going hard. You know what I'm saying? This like in the beginning, like year 3 or 4 or something. You know what I'm saying? I was doing it, but I wasn't like, and I felt like I was going hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm grabbing mics and she was like, we struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just rather, we could still like, we might need time away and blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I felt like she was challenging me on whether I was going to do comedy or with her. And I'm like, I'm never going to be at GM. I'm never, if you want to do who does that, then I'm not the dude for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to be, and nothing against people who work at plants, but I always wanted to follow my passion. Now, if I got to do something like that in the end, balance it, that's something different. But at the time, I didn't see none of that. I just seen just comedy. I'm going to make this work, and this is what I'm doing. And so she's like, yeah, but you ain't, like, if you're going to do it, just go extra hard. Like, and I'm like, I'm thinking she getting, so after the separation, I had to think about it and really realize what she was talking about. When we got back together, she was like, all right, I'm with you. And, and I'm like, yeah, man, I get what you're saying. Like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it for real.
So with it, because people often ask me, it's like, damn, Corey, it seems like you always working. And it's like, yeah, but I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I multiple balances. Like after this interview, I got another interview today, and then I'm going to go send some invoices. Then I'm going to work on some proposals, send some emails. Like I got another 40 different business tasks that I'm going to do. Some small, some larger, but I'm still going to complete them before the end of this day.
Yeah.
But I had to build up to this clip of work because it's easy to just sit around and watch TV all day. It's easy to just play PlayStation. It's easy to just, drift and like be, and like you say, you're doing a little bit of what you do.
Yeah.
But it's like, am I really buying my own time? So like, this is what I would say to people. It's like, you got to look at it like you paying yourself.
Yeah.
Meaning like, and this is the most important person you was paying. And if you were paying yourself for productivity of what you produce in your hour, in your day, in your week, in your month, would you really pay yourself? Would you be worth what you think you deserve? Or can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, nah, man, really, I ain't really did, I'm not really there. Like, I'm working on this workbook, and actually it's funny. Me and my homie Mike Will, shout out Mike Willie, me and him doing it together, and I'm going to actually buy one for you and one for Josh, and I'm pretty sure y'all going to crack up. It's some sucker stuff in there, but it's still, every day I have to rate my day from 0 to 10. I've yet to hit a 10 day.
Okay.
Every day, my best is 8 yet because I feel like it's still more I could get.
Yeah.
And on a bad day, it's like now I'm rating my days like a 6,
Yeah.
6.5. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, why did I have a 6.5 day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff people talk about, it's like, what's this? Like,
Yeah.
am I really putting in the effort? Because if
Yeah.
I'm not putting in the effort, how do I expect the people that work with me to put in that effort?
Hey, and when she told me that, man, it like something clicked and was like, and I started looking at it different. I'm like, man, I'm not getting up and really like working this like an 8 to 5, like a 9 to 5, or like a 12 to 12 or a 8 to 8. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's and I just vowed and told her, like, you know what, man, if you believe in me and we're gonna roll like this, I got you. I'm about to go hard. Like, this is what I'm about to do. And so it became a point where, man, I'm always at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I leave here, like you said, when I leave here, I got 5 or 6 other things, you know what I'm saying, on my plate. But I'm learning to write things down.
Yeah.
Like, write down what I want to do. Like, the night before, man, I'm always writing all the stuff I want to do. Boom, 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 boom. And I try and accomplish that list every day. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, you get detoured.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? People feel like because I'm an entrepreneur that I can stop what I'm doing and pick up somebody and do this and do that and do this. It's like, and I had to start saying no. You know, because if I was working at Lowe's, you couldn't call me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So some certain things I had to say no about just to make sure I get done what I need to get done. You know, so even with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she want to do stuff and kick it, but you know, I got to say no to some things because you ain't gonna want to hear that when the DTE do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, remember that time when we was kicking it, and then because that's why I ain't like, no. So certain, you know, I still make time for it, but certain things I gotta make sure I do because of being an entrepreneur like that, man.
I like it. So with that, man, as we get to the close, and I definitely gonna bring you back. Like this, you dropped a lot of game and heavy. I'm gonna definitely send this. I'm gonna be like, Jay Bill, watch this. And Jay gonna be like, oh, you know, I'll be like, Josh, watch this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna close out with the classic stories, but even with that close, in that as you challenge yourself to stay more committed, work at a higher clip. This is the other thing in the game of some of what I do, and I think what you do with comedy. You know, it's easy because you may be around people working at a lower clip. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if this is sports and athletics, like if you play with, you know, as they say, like some of the best athletes have like that older brother, or they always the kid that play with older kids their whole life.
Yeah.
So then when they finally start playing with kids that's their age, it's like they killing them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be the older kid playing with the younger kids.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to work as hard as you.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay as committed. Now you got a class and other little homies looking at you, and I'm sure they see your clip, but how do you not let, I guess, I don't want to say bad habits because that makes it seem bad, but bad habits that you that would be bad for you that you observe in others impact your flow?
I think it's an iron sharpening iron thing too, man. And I'm always looking to be the best that I can be. You know what I mean? So I'm never looking like competing with people that's around me, and you know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, what J Bill doing? What Josh, like, you know what I mean? Of course I see it, you know what I mean? Of course I want to be the best and be one of the best or do some of the things that you see people do, but I'm never competing with that. I'm always competing with me. I'm trying to beat what I was yesterday and beat just trying to be the best me I could be, man. And then so I'm looking at people Kevin Hart, and what he doing? Like, oh man, he got a podcast. He got the app or a talk app, and he got a sitcom and blah 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 blah. And so that's what I'm looking. I'm like, man, how can I build my empire like a Tyler Perry? And you know what I'm saying? What can I do to make myself bigger and do things and still do things that I love to do? And so, and then you gotta make sure that you're around people who thinking like that, because if you're around low-minded people, then you will start becoming around, like somebody made an example about an eagle hanging around a bunch of chickens, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll become, the eagle start acting like a chicken when eagle ain't even supposed to be down there.
So, okay, now with that being said, I'm just going to push back, and I got one more question, and I'm going to go to the classic ones. When you start observing that chicken possibly could be your family. That chicken could be like your partner that you with.
Yeah.
That chicken could be like your kid. That chicken could be people that you feel connected to. How do you even like swerve that respectfully of like, okay, I'm just not on this energy. I'm not on this time because I'm on this path. And eventually you gonna walk this stride with me respectfully, or you gonna be like, yo, right on. I can't be in this space because it can change your whole, like, when I think about my social circle and all my homies, like, one time Josh was like, when we did the Deontay Wilder fight, he was like, damn, I didn't even know you hung around people that wasn't business people or, like, pro-black or community. You know Josh so silly. I got homies for days.
Yeah.
But it's just like, because we not in the same stride.
Yeah.
I'm not on the same time they on.
Yeah.
I don't have the same time to do it like more so like a one-off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I can't be in this space. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't play tunk and drink and talk shit and, you know, every Saturday because I'm getting to something. Like, how do you manage that? Because you may have your whole existence, who you are, is connected to people that's on, you know, for lack of a better term, you know, chicken it.
I lost a lot of people like that. You know what I mean? But I'm always busy, man. It's like people had to catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say I don't indulge sometimes, or time to time I might do it, but I just I won't let my energy won't allow it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, no, man, we gotta do something. Like, my mind is always on the next task and what can I do differently. So I could be sitting here playing tunk and drinking, they chilling. My mind is somewhere else. All right, bro, I need a backdrop. I need
Hilarious.
I should get this bigger comedy room. I should start my clean comedy. What's up, man? Yeah. I gotta get my house straight. I got a whole, like, you know, I'm always somewhere else mentally, man, because the things that I'm doing, I love to do. You know what I'm saying? The growth, I get excited about growing, and you know what I'm saying? I get excited about new projects. So, like the one-man show, you know, somebody was telling me, man, you should do it like a 200-seater. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, man. God told me think big, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I know the relationships that I built with different people. You know what I'm saying? So I always call Josh. I'm like, you know, because for me, he always straightforward. Josh gonna give you his opinion
all day.
He's never just gonna say whatever you say. He just gonna side with it. He gonna be like, yeah, man, but I'm gonna tell you, like, you know what I'm saying? He always got his opinion. So when I kick it with, but I know it's gonna be an honest from his heart type opinion. You know what I'm saying? So when I kick it with, he like, man, that's what you feel, man. Go do it, man. Why you can't? Like, and I'm like, you right, bro. You're right, man. Because, you know, somebody else who was close to me was telling me, yeah, man, just try and do something, man. Do something small and don't worry about it. And I was like, man, you know, but sometimes people will try and pull you down so you won't go to where you're trying to go to. And so I'm like, Josh, one of the people I know I can call, and he'll give me the real. And so he's like, man, do it. And I'm like, you know what? You right, bro. I'm going to do it. And 1,500.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The time before, the one-man show before that was 600 at the Renaissance. I don't know if you remember that. I was like about 5 years. I did that at the Renaissance.
I do
left my
remember
kids
that.
in the car.
I do remember that.
And so this one, I was like, man, if I did that, I can, you know what I'm saying? God willing, I could do this. And,
yeah, that's big.
And it happened, man.
So, classic Detroit is different questions now.
All right.
And even before that, how people get in contact with you? I'll put it in the lower thirds too.
Oh man, everything is comedian Mike Larry. The mic, like the microphone, Larry. Comedian Mike Larry. Mike Larry. Yup. Everything.
All right. So classic. Very first car, year, make, and model, year you got.
Oh man, a '77 Cutlass, man.
Oh
Triple
man,
black.
you had a
triple black, man.
I imagine somebody probably got that car and commandeered it from you a couple times, boy, because of Cuddy.
Cuddy, man. My cousin, they got it from Mother Waddles, right?
Wow.
The dude was about to turn it into Mother Waddles, and she bought it for him from him before he turned it in. Some white man. She only paid, I think she said she paid $200 for it.
Are you serious?
I swear, man.
And it was,
It wasn't clean, though. It had rust over the back wheel wells.
Okay.
But everything else was clean.
Oh, but you can work that out.
Inside, it had the velvet little black seats, the black top. But it was cold. To me, it was cold, man.
Okay.
Ran like a charm, bro.
How long was you gripping it?
I gripped that for a minute, man. I drove it back and forth to school and everything, bro.
Okay.
And then I ended up switching that. I found a Mustang, a notchback Mustang. On my way, I I went to this community college too called Lansing, up in Lansing, and this white guy he says my buddy raced cars and he has a notchback Mustang, and I went and seen it and it was like I gotta have it.
Hilarious.
So I sold that and went and got that.
Wow.
87 boy. It was 87 boy. Kind of looked like Menace Society, but it wasn't a drop top though.
Did you you put feet on it? You get some rims?
Yeah. I got some hammers. I put some hammers. Back then, y'all young cats don't know it was deep dish rims back then. I had some deep dish hammers, some 10 reverse, so they stuck out. And, you know what I'm saying? The sounds in that boy banging.
Oh man, so yeah, that was also a car that may have been parked in the wrong spot and may have drifted off.
Oh, definitely, dog, definitely, man.
All right, you the DJ at the end of the fireworks. You get to play 2 songs. Woodward and Jefferson, you right there. What 2 songs you playing?
Woodward and Jefferson, I'm the DJ.
It's the end of the fireworks. They just finished the grand finale.
Oh, it's time to go, man. Too short, man.
Okay.
Let everybody get on up out of here, man. But I'm an R&B song, person too, man. I like some Anita Baker, man.
Okay, what song?
Sweet Love or something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm one of them kind of dudes, man. So it's time to go and Anita Baker, Sweet Love. They don't even go together, but they go.
Hilarious. And last thing, if you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter, who would it be and why?
Oh, my man Cooley, man. Just only because, man, he was. I think when you think about, and I'm a comedian, so that's the reason why I thought about it first. It was how much he put into the game and just how dope he was, and for me, I feel like the world, knew him like a lot of people in the world, but not really like they should have known him, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, rest in peace. That was my guy.
R.I.P. my nigga Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid was my gateway into the comedy world.
Yeah.
And you already know, Kool-Aid would joke about me all the time.
Oh man,
rest
bro.
in peace. Love Kool-Aid.
Yeah, bro.
All right, let's do it. Peace.
Let's get it, man. Boom.
Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.